The sun dipped low beneath the ragged edges of the mountain range, turning the sky the color of embers as Aiden pushed deeper into the Valley of Echoes, the place whispered about in old songs and forbidden maps, a place where the air itself seemed to hold its breath. He carried only a small pack, a half-drained canteen, and the weight of a prophecy he never asked to bear. Each step felt heavier than the last, not because of exhaustion, though his muscles burned and trembled from the days of travel, but because the stories carved into his memory were beginning to feel less like superstition and more like warnings he should have listened to. The valley floor trembled faintly beneath him, not with the rhythm of an ordinary quake, but with a slow, pulsing heartbeat as though something ancient slumbered beneath the earth, dreaming dark dreams. Aiden swallowed hard, tasting dust and dread on his tongue, and forced himself forward, whispering the words Elder Mira had spoken the night she revealed the truth. The one who walks unchosen must awaken the light inside himself before the shadows claim him. He didn't feel like a chosen anything, just a boy with too many questions and too few answers, drawn to a destiny that felt oversized and ill-fitted like borrowed armor. Yet every path outside the valley had closed to him, every door pushed him here, and the symbols carved onto his forearm, a mark he was born with, glowed faintly now in response to something he couldn't see. The wind shifted suddenly, carrying voices not quite human, not quite wind, murmuring as though the valley remembered him. His pace slowed, nerves crackling like static under his skin. He recalled rumors. Travelers who entered the Valley of Echoes sometimes heard their own fears whispered back to them, magnified, twisted, weaponized. A test, the legends claimed. A warning, others argued. But Elder Mira insisted the valley was a threshold, and thresholds demanded courage. As Aiden pressed on, shadows elongated unnaturally around him, stretching across the ground like fingers reaching for his ankles. The sky darkened faster than any sunset should allow, as if night had leapt eagerly over the horizon. He tightened his grip on his pack strap and steadied his breath, remembering what Mira had said about fear, that it had two faces, one that chased, and one that led. Somewhere in the distance, a low, haunting horn sounded, vibrating through the rocks, a call or a threat, he wasn't sure. His pulse hammered. His instinct screamed at him to turn around, but something deeper, something old, kept him walking. He followed a narrow path winding toward the valley's heart, where the ruins of the first keepers were said to rest, guardians of the celestial gate. The great stone pillars came into view, cracked and crumbling but still magnificent, arranged in a circle like towering sentinels. The air inside the ring felt different, thicker, charged, alive. Aiden crossed the threshold, and the ground hummed louder, resonating with the mark on his forearm, which now glowed brighter, illuminating the dust around him. Then the whispers sharpened. They ceased being shapeless murmurs and instead took the form of his own voice. You are not enough for this. Turn back before you fail everyone. Aiden froze, breath stuttering. It was terrifying hearing his own doubts spoken aloud, as though the valley itself was peeling open his chest and rummaging through his ribs. He clenched his fists. It's just a trick, he muttered to steady himself, stepping farther into the ring. But the voices multiplied, layering over each other like echoes in a cavern. You're weak. You're lost. You will break. You will die. His knees buckled under the weight of the words. He dropped to the ground as a wave of emotion slammed into him, fear, guilt, loneliness, sharp as knives, familiar as the memories he tried to forget. He hadn't told anyone how terrified he truly was of failing, of losing the people he loved, of becoming one more forgotten story swallowed by the valley. Tears stung his eyes, shadows curled around him like smoke given life, forming shapes that looked almost human, almost like the faces of those he'd lost. He dragged in a ragged breath, fighting the urge to shut his eyes and surrender. He remembered Myra's last words before he left the village. Courage isn't the absence of fear, Aiden. It is the decision that something else matters more. Something else. Something more. Aiden forced himself to look at the shadows, not away from them. The air thickened, vibrating with challenge. He rose slowly, legs trembling, the glowing mark on his arm now pulsing like a heartbeat. You are my fears, he whispered through clenched teeth. But you're not my future. The valley responded. A sudden gust of warm wind surged through the pillars, scattering the shadows like ashes. The whispers stopped abruptly, leaving behind a silence so deep it rang in his ears. In that silence, a soft hum emerged from the earth beneath him, and then a blinding column of light erupted from the center of the stone circle, shooting upward into the sky like a beacon. Aiden shielded his eyes, heart racing with awe and terror. The light coiled around him like a spiral of fireflies, warm and gentle, lifting him onto his toes. His mark burned brighter than ever, no longer just glowing, but blazing. And then he heard it, a single voice rising above the fading echoes, calm and ancient, speaking directly inside his mind. The gate awakens. The Keeper returns. Aiden's breath caught. Keeper, him. Before he could question it, the ground shook violently. A deafening crack split the sky as the mountain behind the valley tore open, releasing a roar that sounded like the world itself was being ripped apart. Dark smoke surged upward, swallowing the stars. The valley that had held its breath for centuries was now exhaling something monstrous. Aiden staggered, eyes wide, as a colossal silhouette emerged through the smoke, horned, towering, and chained in molten gold that cracked with each thunderous step. The prophecy he'd tried to deny unfolded before him. The celestial gate had awakened, and so had the creature it was meant to contain. His hands trembled as he realized the truth. Elder Mira had not sent him here to find answers. She had sent him here to stand between the world and what was coming. Night fell without warning, smothering the valley in a darkness thicker and heavier than any natural sky could summon, as if the creature that had risen from the mountain, still half shrouded in molten chains, was swallowing the light itself with every breath it exhaled. Aiden stumbled back, the ground trembling beneath him in violent pulses that climbed up his legs and rattled his bones, and for a moment he felt impossibly small, one fragile human standing before something carved from a nightmare older than the world. The towering beast's eyes opened slowly, glowing like twin suns imprisoned behind smoke, each blink echoing with a low vibration that seemed to pull at Aiden's heartbeat, synchronizing it with the creature's own monstrous rhythm. His mind screamed for him to run, to flee into the mountains and disappear into the wilderness where no prophecy, no mark, no ancient duty could reach him. But his legs refused to obey, instead they rooted him to the ground as if the earth itself had decided he must not leave. The column of celestial light that had crowned the stone circle now flickered uncertainly, like a candle fighting the wind, and Aiden felt a sudden wave of guilt crash over him. Had he done something wrong? Had he awakened the wrong force? Was he not a keeper, but a key, a mistake, an unintended spark that reopened a prison meant to stay sealed for eternity? The creature lifted its head higher, sniffing the air with slow deliberate breaths, and the chains around its limbs groaned, sizzling where the molten links met its obsidian skin. A voice boomed, not aloud, not through the air, but inside Aiden's skull, a deep, resonant voice that felt like thunder made conscious. The seal breaks, after 1,000 ages, the world calls me again. Aiden clutched his head, teeth clenched as the words vibrated through him so violently that he thought his skull might shatter. The valley shook with each syllable. Stop, stop, please, he tried to say, but the words barely escaped his mouth, swallowed by the darkness. The creature's gaze snapped toward him, pinning him in place. You carry the mark, the voice rumbled, softer now but no less overwhelming. You awaken what your ancestors forged. Aiden blinked rapidly, his breath coming fast and shallow. Ancestors, forged. The mark on his forearm pulsed painfully, glowing so brightly that it cast a white halo across the cracked earth. The creature stepped closer, and the earth cracked under its weight, fissures spreading out like veins of fire. Aiden stumbled backward, but his foot hit one of the ancient pillars, stopping him abruptly. He felt trapped, between stone and a god, between prophecy and destruction, between fear and something he hadn't yet named. Lightning tore across the sky, illuminating the full shape of the creature. Its body was armored in shifting plates of midnight stone, its limbs bound by celestial chains etched with runes older than language, and its chest glowed faintly with a pulsing orange light, like the last ember of a dying star trapped beneath layers of darkness. The sight rooted Aiden in a strange mix of terror and awe. Then the voice returned, quieter but sharper. Do you know what you have done, child of the light? Aiden forced himself to swallow. I don't, he stammered. I didn't mean to release anything, I was just trying to. His voice cracked. He didn't even know how to finish the sentence. Trying to survive, to understand, to not disappoint the elder who believed in him. The creature lowered its massive head, bringing its burning eyes so close that Aiden could see his own trembling reflection inside them, small, fragile, breakable. Your fear is loud, the creature observed. Louder than your purpose. Aiden's pulse thrashed against his throat. I never asked for a purpose, he whispered, surprising himself with the honesty spilling from his lips. I'm not chosen. I'm not a keeper. I'm just me. The creature's chains tightened suddenly, jerking its body forward with a violent lurch, and the shockwave sent Aiden sprawling onto the ground. Its roar shook the world, scattering rocks and sending the pillars quivering. Then why does the gate answer your touch? It thundered. No mortal can summon the celestial light unless the gate itself recognizes the soul calling it. The words slammed into Aiden harder than the quake. Recognizes. The gate. Recognized him. But how? Why? He pressed his hand to the glowing mark on his arm, feeling the heat radiating beneath his skin like something alive. I don't understand, he whispered, his voice cracking. None of this makes sense. The creature tilted its head, studying him with unsettling intensity. It is not your understanding that summoned me. It is your blood. Aiden froze. Blood. His heart stumbled. But I don't. My family, we're just farmers. We're nobody. A soft low sound rumbled through the creature, something like amusement wrapped in bitterness. Your line is older than your memory. The keepers hid themselves. They hid their children. They hid you. Aiden felt the world tilt. His stomach churned. No, he whispered. My parents would have told me. They died before they could, the beast interrupted. Aiden flinched as though struck. His breath caught in his throat. Images flashed through his mind unbidden. His mother's gentle laugh, his father's calloused hands, the fire that took them in the middle of the night, smoke, screams, darkness. Elder Myra's arms around him, whispering that everything would be all right. But had she known? Had she always known? His chest tightened painfully. You're lying, he whispered, but the words were weak, crumbling under the weight of doubt. The creature leaned closer, and for the first time, Aiden sensed something beneath its immense power, something weary, ancient, and strangely familiar. You carry the Keeper's flame, it murmured. You cannot lie to yourself. The ground pulsed beneath them, reacting to the truth. Aiden's eyes stung. His hands trembled as confusion warred with grief, fear, anger, and a desperate need to understand. If I'm a keeper, he breathed, then why would I release something the keepers imprisoned? The creature's burning eyes softened, just slightly, but enough for Aiden to notice. Because the keepers did not imprison me. The words hung in the air like a storm about to break. Aiden blinked. What? I was not the enemy, the creature growled, voice filled with ancient pain. I was their weapon. The sky rumbled. Aiden felt his heartbeat falter. Weapon. The creature lifted its chained limbs, molten metal dripping like tears. They bound me, not to destroy me, but to silence me. To prevent me from telling the truth. A cold chill crawled up Aiden's spine. What truth? He whispered. The creature leaned forward, the fire in its chest glowing brighter. The shadows you fear, the darkness rising beyond the mountains, the force that killed your parents, it was not me, child. Aiden's breath hitched. The world tilted again, but this time with a violent jolt of shock. The creature's next words shattered everything he thought he knew. The real enemy is waking, and you are the only keeper left.